applications. Means create, read, update, delete, how it works. So now today we will see how to create and work with API. Already yesterday I explained concept of Express. So what is Express? Express is a middleware framework. What is the ability of framework? A framework can build the application and control the application flow, right? Language and libraries are used for building application, and a framework is for controlling application flow. So in this Express, what we are going to learn. So how do we create the APIs? So here first we need to understand in order to understand API, we need to understand distributed computing. In order to understand API concept, first you need to know distributed computing. What is distributed computing? Actually, in software technologies, there are various type of computing architectures. Cloud computing, distributed computing, and distributed computing means distributed computing allows two applications running on two different machines to share information. Two applications running on two different machines can share information. Or not only that, or you can also say, or two applications running in two different process of same machine can share information. That is distributed computing. Distributed computing means two applications running on two different machines can share information. For example, we have two computers. That means we are having two computers. In these two computers, there are two applications. So in this computer, we have an app, and in this computer, we have an app. Now information can be shared between them. So two applications can share information between them. Actually, two different computers means you can say one is server, another one is client. So on server, one application is running. On client, another application is running. Both can share information between them. That is one concept. So another concept is, in a same computer, there may be two applications. So this is some app 1, this is some app 2. These two applications can share information between them. That is what actually applications in same machine can share information. This is also distributed computing. For example, you see, suppose you are watching YouTube on your mobile, and you are using a shopping app in your mobile. On shopping app, you browsed some products, and after that you go to YouTube. You will find advertisement for them on YouTube. That means how YouTube knows what you searched on Amazon, right? That means in Amazon, some products you searched, or in Make My Trip, you searched some hotels or flights, and you go to YouTube or Facebook, suddenly you see advertisements for them. You have seen that, right? That means how YouTube is getting information about what you saw on Amazon. It will show advertisements of exactly what you searched, right? So that means two applications running on two different machines can share information on same machine, can share information. Actually, that you can control. In some of the mobiles, you have settings. When you install any app, it will prompt and it will ask, do you want this app to share information with other apps? You can say no. Then it cannot share. By default, it is yes in many of your mobiles. Some of the mobiles have this ability to control sharing of information between apps, they can control. Mostly why Apple phones are called secured little bit. Why? Because they have all these restrictions. They can control. When you install any app on iPhone, it will alert and it will say, do you want this app to share information with others, across others? If you don't want, I will not share. If you allow, then I can share. Prevent, it can prevent that. So sharing information between apps within same device or different device. For example, a different device means what? Suppose we are watching Netflix. On server there is Netflix. How to watch Netflix on my computer? I can open a browser and visit netflix.com and I can watch. Otherwise, I can install a Netflix app in my computer and through that app I can watch. Advantage of app is it will provide some offline data also. So that means Netflix is a distributed application as well as it is a web application. Facebook, Netflix, Twitter, all these are these days two types: web application as well as distributed. Distributed applications means that is the concept. So two computers, two applications running in two computers, and two applications running on same computer can share information between them. That is what actually distributed computing. And to design this, that means there are various distributed computing technologies. There are various distributed computing technologies used by different languages. Different languages. Different languages use different distributed architecture technologies. Like some of the famous distributed computing technologies, we have Corba. So we have Corba. So it is common object request broken architecture. We have like DCOM. DCOM is distribute component object model. So we have RMI. So this is remote method invocation. We have EJB, enterprise resource planning. So we have like web service, and we have like another concept is remoting. All these are different distributed computing technologies. Different languages use different. For example, C, C++, Java, and other technologies, more than 14 languages, they know Corba. They use Corba. DCOM is used by languages like VB, Visual Basic. RMI is used by Java. EJB is used by J2EE, and web service is known to all technologies. PHP, Python, JSP, .NET, everybody knows web service. Remoting is for .NET. That is what actually they call as API. That means application programming interface. Application programming interface. This is what you provided by these technologies. All these technologies will provide an programming interface that allows to share data or information between applications running on two different machines or applications running on same machine. So by using these technologies, we can design APIs. So actually, these are all API concepts. So many are there. Web API. Let's open here. This is not common. Web API 2 I am having right here. This is also not required for you. For you, simple one is Web API. Yeah, this is enough, right? Actually, that is the concept of Web API. Yeah. So this is the concept of Web API. So you don't need ASP.NET related anything. I will give you only few because this is related to other technologies which may confuse you a little bit. Okay, so actually, yeah, this is the concept of, yeah, these are various computing technologies. We have computing architectures, different computing architectures, distributed, cloud, grid, cluster, parallel computing. These are different computing. Every computing architecture is different. In this, currently we are looking at distributed computing. Distributed computing means what? Distributed computing means communication between two applications running on two different machines so that they can share information. Similarly, communication between two objects running on same machine in two different processes, they can share information. These are all distributed computing technologies. Corba, DCOM, RMI, EJB, web service, remoting. You can see Corba, common object request broken architecture. Actually invented by OMG group, and it is used in more than 14 languages. Another one is DCOM, Distribute Component Object Model. It is invented by Microsoft, and it is used in a language called VB, Visual Basic. And we have RMI, Remote Method Invocation. It is used in J2E, EJB, Enterprise Java Beans. It is used in Java. Remoting, web services is known to all. Java, .NET, PHP, Python, everyone knows web service. Remoting is specially for .NET. These are all distributed computing technologies. Means if you are learning .NET, Java, you will learn different concept. But API is same for everybody. What is the main intention of API? To write a programming interface which can reach any device. That is the main aim. That means you write a programming interface which can send data to any device. You can access from a mobile, you can access from a tab or a smartwatch or a laptop, desktop. So from any device you can access, making the content reachable to any device. That is the main concept of APIs. So that is the intention of API, application interface, programming interface. So API is responsible for sending data to any device. Now, how it sends the data means how the communication happens actually. So while working with concept of application interface, you should know these are all application interface. That means, so API is, it provides an application programming interface that can reach any device and any platform, any device and any platform. You may be using Android, iOS, or Linux, Unix, anywhere it can reach. Any device it can reach, any operating system it can reach, making the content available across all devices and platforms. That is the main concept of API. Actually, this application programming interface have three specifications. API have three specifications. They have three specifications. Actually, we have SOAP, we have REST, and we have JSON. There are three specifications. That means how API communicates, how it communicates by using three important concepts. One is SOAP, REST, and JSON. What is SOAP? SOAP is actually service oriented architecture protocol. What happens in this SOAP? In SOAP, what happens is consumer sends an XML request. Consumer will send an XML request, and the provider sends an XML response. Consumer means what? Client. Provider means server. Client sends a XML request and server sends an XML response. So request and response will be in which form? XML form. These days are gone. We are not using this SOAP very much. In SOAP, request and response will be in XML. From client, a request will go in XML. From server, it will come in XML. These days, we are not using SOAP. Earlier, lot of web entirely designed with SOAP. After that, we transformed to REST. REST is nothing but representational state transfer. REST is representational state transfer. Actually, in REST, what happens is consumer sends a query request. That means a simple query. Query strings, a simple query string request he will send. Query string request means, so question mark ID is equal to 10, like that. A simple query request will be sent. And what provider will do? And provider sends an XML response. So that is the concept of REST. In REST, request will be in simple query. Response will be in XML. We are more forward than this now, actually. Companies are still several locations they are using REST. REST can optionally give JSON also. But we are not using REST directly, we are using more than that. That means currently we are using what? JSON. What is the JSON? JavaScript object notation. In JSON, consumer sends JSON request, and provider sends JSON response. That means request and response will be in JSON. This is what the current generation is using. So XML was very popular earlier, but now we are using more lightweight than XML, which is JSON. That's the reason you saw NASA API, Fake Store API. Everything data is coming in the form of JSON. Several years back, it was in XML. Even today, some websites still use XML, but we prefer using JSON. JSON is lightweight. JSON is understandable to every platform easily. So it can flow through the firewalls. It cannot be blocked by the firewalls. And JSONs are not infected with virus. These are all the major advantages of JSON. Right? Technically, we are creating an application programming interface. This application programming interface handles the request and response in which form? JSON form. So actually, these are the specifications. We call them as. These are specifications. These are three specifications: SOAP, REST, and JSON. In SOAP, actually SOAP internally uses languages like WSDL, UDDI. These are the languages used by SOAP. This is not required for you. This is for people who are completely dealing with API server side technology. So SOAP request and response will be in this form. We have a service provider and we have a service consumer. And the service consumer sends SOAP service request, which will be in which form? XML. Response also will be in the form of XML. And we are now using this REST, representational state transform. It is more simpler and easier than SOAP. Less verbose means lightweight. It will not occupy more space, and it is faster and less amount also in communicating. In this, we send a query request. Consumer will send a query request, and provider will send an response. Query, it will be in XML. Now we are using JSON, JavaScript object notation, and in this request and response will be in JSON. This is the technique that we are going to follow here. So application interface, right? So how these APIs are created, we will see. Means how to configure API. So configuring API. For configuring the API, already we know configuring API means here one more point I will tell you. API requests. What are the API requests? We know already. So for CRUD operations, so see CRUD. So for CRUD operations, what are the requests? So C is, this is for create. Create means for that post. Read means for that get. Update means for that put. So delete means it is delete. These are the requests. So for creating, we use post, means inserting. For accessing, we use get. For modifying, we use put. And for removing, we use delete. And it is managed by two objects, API objects. What are those two basic objects here? One is a request object, another one response object. These two basic objects, we know meaning of them, already a given. Same request object's purpose is fetching data from client. What kind of data? Query string, form body. Remember the query string, form body, cookies. All these are fetching. Response means what? HTML response, file response, XML response, or JSON response. Response can be anything. We have request and response. And we have API status codes. API status codes. We learned about some status codes. A simple point is, so 201, 202, 203, 200, all 200 requests, API requests, these actually belong to success. All 300 requests, they belong to redirection, means navigating from one location to error. All 400 requests, these are related to client side errors, right? And all 500 will be related to server side errors. If there is a problem client side, then it is 400. It is 400 means 401, 402, 404 like that. If it is a server side problem, then 500. Anything related to server side. These are redirections actually. Suppose error status codes. So these are the status codes. These are basic error codes. These are basic error codes. So mostly 200 are related to success. 300 related to redirection, navigation, redirection. 400 related to client side problems. And 500 is related to server side problem. Right? In case any server side issue is there. So internal server error, not implemented. These are major. There are so many error status codes. I given a program now. So you can write that program and get the list of all server side codes and their meanings. That is the basic tradition actually. These are the basic codes. So on success, we need to send something. On redirection, we need to navigate from one place to another. That is. Now we will see how to create that API using Express. So configuring API using Express framework. So for Node.js, we have to configure API using Express framework. For that first point, you have to install Express framework. So just you have to run npm install Express save like this. Let's do that in our code. Let's go to the project here. So this is our shopping. Yeah. So here we will write, we will first install. Here we will install, yeah, npm install Express save. Okay. Once you installed Express, now we will create a new file. In server, I'm creating a new file, some api.js. In this file, we have to import Express first. So var Express is equal to require what? Express. Okay. After importing Express, Express is a very big framework. In that, lot of sub libraries are present. One library for translating, one library for handling cars, so many. In that, we need a core Express library. So Express have a core library and have different child libraries. In that, we need to create an object which can access the core library. So var app is equal to Express. Express loads the core library. That means now what happens? We can create an app by using this core library. So it loads into memory, and through that we can access and use an app. So we are creating an application server side. Because distributed computing means what? Server side, there must be an app which can share information with your client side app, right? We are creating a server side app, but by using which middleware? Express. Now what this app can do? This app can handle request from client. It can handle request from client and send a response. How it will handle the request and response? For that, actually, it is going to use a technique. Earlier, when you are in site, in website, so how you handle navigation, how you will send response to client request. Usually what you do, you create links, and by using those links, you will navigate. User clicks on a link, and under that we put an href, and it will access the source defined in href and it returns. So that is general navigation. This is general navigation. That is general navigation. Now, all technologies are not using this navigation very much. We have better than this navigation. We call this as routing. Routing. We call this as routing. Routing is nothing but routing is a technique used in the modern web applications to create and configure user and user and SEO friendly URLs. Earlier, we were not using this routing very much. Now we are using this routing for navigation. We are using client side routing. We are using server side routing. Routing is a technique. By using this technique, we can create user friendly, SEO friendly URLs. I will tell you a simple example. Actually, earlier, suppose means I will tell one basic example. I don't know from how many years you are using internet. In the beginning days of internet, when internet started in India, actually in India, we started using internet in early 1995. From 95, 96, 97, we started using internet in India. Actually, at the time when we started using internet, only few servers were there. For example, in Hyderabad, if I want to use internet, a lease line should come, internet line should come from Chennai. For all southern India, the server is in Chennai. From there, a cable should come, and here we need to use internet. And I think you know at that moment internet charges 100 rupees per hour, 100 rupees per hour. So after that 40 rupees, 50 rupees. Now totally internet points gone because of Reliance. Reliance. These people made a revolution in India in all aspects. In Reliance, Ambani made a very revolutionary changes in our economy with mobiles and these internet. He is the person who made mobiles easy for everybody. Actually, in the beginning days when mobiles came, 16 rupees outgoing call, 7 rupees incoming call. And at that time, Ambani, the senior Ambani, he was alive at that time. He released a mobile phone for 2 rupees. Do you know? 2 rupees mobile phone. 2 rupees mobile phone. That means everybody started using mobile. And free. Incoming free, outgoing free. Now all these people like Hutch gone to Vodafone, Vodafone gone to Idea. Now everybody gone from the mobile industry because of Ambani. He made a revolution in the mobile industry, right? And every poor person also started using mobile. He made a revolution in that. Internet also same. Earlier, so we have to use internet with 50 rupees cost, 30 rupees cost. Now you are using free internet. You just witnessed Jio. Your generation witnessed this Jio, right? Before Jio, you know how internet was on mobiles. Nah, you are the witness of Reliance. So what they made a revolution. They are now making more revolutions. Right now, you know that we are expecting this Reliance to be in the place of Amazon and Flipkart. In coming years, these also will disappear. No more Amazon, no more Flipkart. Everything is under control of Reliance. No more Google Maps. No more Google Maps. India is taking over of all the communication satellites by its own. No more Google Maps. All navigation system is managed by our country by itself, its government. Already it is under trial. So the point here is, in the early days when internet started, even today I have my old diary. In the diary, Website addresses are there, URLs. We need to note down website address. We need to take the diary, sit in internet point, open the diary, see the address and type. One small spelling mistake or any mistake in com or org, site will not open. No suggestion, nothing. Simply say not open. You can't do anything if you forgot URL. These days, you forget the spellings, you don't know spellings, you type mistake in spellings, you have wide search engines. What they do, they will say that, do you mean this? Right? That means these days in the URL, you can type words. Earlier in the URL, only URL. And anything other than that, it can't open. But now you can type words, what you want. It will search for that and use it. So this is because of routing. Routing made this possible. Before routing, URLs are very strict. Routing made this possible. Even search engines also can easily identify. That is the reason. So best results of routing, I will tell you. Same concept. In the beginning days of YouTube, when YouTube first came, before Facebook, before Facebook, we were using Orkut. You heard about it? Orkut. Before Orkut, we were using Yahoo Groups. Yahoo Groups. After Yahoo Groups was very popular. After that, Orkut. After that, Facebook. People migrated from here to here. And when in the beginning days, when YouTube came, so I personally faced that. Right? I searched for a video. I spent 10-15 minutes to search for one video. I got a video. After that, I want to show that video to somebody. So in his computer. Then again, I forgot where I searched. Again, I need to spend 10-15 times. Means 10-15 minutes I need to spend where it is. The video is. Now, that means it automatically starts where you stop. This is routing, because of routing on. Routing made this possible. So that means it can correctly note down where you stopped and it can start from there. This makes user friendly, even SEO friendly. Next time when you open the same page, it can show what you previously visited. It can show the recent items. It can even show the relative content. That is analytics, not routing. Analytics means you are watching some video. It will suggest the other videos related to that. That is the result of analysis, analytics. We call it as analytics. These days, when we develop websites, we ask the people who are developing that, we need good analytics also. Good analytics means what? If anybody is searching for a course and he's watching about that course, we will suggest related courses. That is analytics. We will say that you are watching this, try these also. This is analytics. So routing is used for making the URLs more SEO friendly and user friendly. Actually, I will tell you here. Suppose we have http://amazon.in/electronics. Some php something. In that question mark, some category is equal to some mobiles. So and ampersand some model is equal to mi, like this. This is how actually URLs will be. Now, do you know what routing made? Routing made these URLs simplified. So without routing, URL looks like that. With routing, http www.amazon.in/electronics/mobiles/mi. This is routing. This makes more simplified. Even without bookmarking any page, we can just remember that and we can access it. That makes the browsing also more easy and convenient. This is called routing. So without routing, it looks like this. Even in routing also it can work like that, but with routing we can make it simplified like this. So this is the concept of routing. So if you want to manage request and response, then better to implement this routing. That means actually what happens is, now what we have to do, import express and create an app. How do we do that? So we use, so var express is equal to require express. After that, var app is equal to express. Okay. Next, what we have to do is configure route. Configure routes for your app. Configure routes for your app. We have to configure the routes for app. How do we configure the routes for app? That is important. So what is route? I will tell you, right? We discussed the point. Configuring route for the app means, you see here, this is generally your application. You have an application. This is an application. Now in this application, you have home, you have login, you have register, like options. In the application, you have these resources: home page, login page, register page, some resources are present. Now what we need to do here, so for this application, what resources are present? For those resources, we prepare one table. For those resources, we prepare a table. This table is called as that resources table. That means we call that table as routing table. We create a routing table. This is a routing table. And what is the purpose of this routing table is, this route table actually contains, so what is the request, how the request is expected, and what to be delivered. That means the path we need to configure. That means this is nothing but resource location. That means here we need to define the request. Like, suppose if request is get, and it path is like /home, then what is the resource to be delivered? We have to deliver which page to them? We have to deliver home.html, like that, right? Similarly, we define if the request is like some post and /what register, then what we have to do, send the data to which page? register.html. This is roughly I am giving, later we will design. Now these requests are defined in the table. Now what happens is, this is the client. Now client makes a request. Client makes a request from his browser. That means http://localhost 4400. We created a port number na, and / they will request login. This request will come to a computer. This computer is web server. This request comes to web server. In the web server, this request is managed by HTTP handler. It is managed by handler. What is this HTTP handler will do is it will accept the request coming from the client and it will process that request. It will send this to a engine called routing engine. You will have a routing engine. This routing engine will verify whether that requested path is there in the table or not. It will verify is that there in the table or not. If it is not in the table, then what happens? This routing engine will prepare the request like some 404, means not found. If it is there, then it says 200. Then what happens? Now this application have to load this login, the requested login. Then application will load this login. It will load this login. Yeah, it load this login. And this login will be delivered to, it will load the login and this login is delivered to the client. And it will go from this routing engine. That means it will go from the routing engine. So using the handler, it will go as a response. This is the basic process. That means you make a request, it will go to web server. Web server is going to process the request using a handler. And it will give this request to a routing engine, which will verify on server, is this path available or not. If it is available, then it will load that and it will send as a response to you. That is what it does. So you need here server side these routes to configure. We have to configure the routes. How do we configure the routes? Simple. App.get. So on get, what is the request path we are expecting? Slash. Understood? Slash what you are expecting. Suppose you put only slash. That means it indicates they are not requesting anything. Just the requested is our main application. In that application, they are not requesting anything. If they are not requesting anything, then we will use a callback function. It will be request, another one response. What this have to do? That means what this need to do? Actually, it have to, if user is requesting nothing, slash means he's not requesting nothing, then we will send response.send. We will send, what we will send? Some index.html. Understood? Just rough syntax I'm giving. That means that is what happening actually. You open www.netflix.in. Then it opened index page. You are not requesting index page. Then how it is sending? Because of route. Route is identifying that you are not requesting any specific thing. Then it will automatically deliver you the index. If you are requesting any specific like app.get and what is it? Slash login, then what it will do? So it is going to use an object request and response. And what it is going to do? It is going to send. So here response send. It will send what? Login. Login.html. Actually, it is not like that. I will tell you, show you. Just basic I am giving. Currently, we are just sending, right? Now, what happens is like this, we can write other requests. I will tell you. First, we will manage the get request. Then we can manage other requests. Now, your application is ready. And your application is configured with routes. Now, application is not started. Application is just created. How to start the application? You know, fourth step. Start application. How to start the application? App.listen. Am I right? Listen on any port number 4400. Now application starts listening. So you don't need to create a server. Express itself creates a server. Previously in Node.js, what we have to do, we have to create a HTTP. Through that, we have to create a server. We have to create a response headers. What is the advantage of framework? You saw framework yesterday, I showed you. Without writing any method, without writing any queries, simply you tell from where to pick what to send. It will take care. That is what I showed you yesterday in a framework, that when user types the name, automatically it updates. We haven't written any event, right? So then how it is managing? So framework is controlling everything. So framework advantage is that previously we use a Node.js, which is not a framework, where we have to create server, create header, mention content type. We need to send. Here automatically it recognizes, right? Let's see. So we will create request app.get. App.get. I will put slash. We have request, another response, and what it have to do. So it have to send response.send. Response.send. I will just put a heading. So this is our suppose express. So this is index page. Suppose shopping index. Like this we define. Currently we are sending markup. Later we will send files. Okay, fine. Similarly, another request app.get slash. Suppose I am giving here some products. Understand? Some products. Then we have a request and a response. Now what it have to do? So response.send. I am sending this time array of objects. In that we have name. So we have some price. Name is some name. We have some price, the price, and we have another object that is name. So the name is some mobile. Another object is some price. Like this we define, right? This is the data we are sending. But now next level, what we will do here, we would put MongoDB logic. We have to send data from database now. That means only one simple point is in this. We will write Mongo connection. We will write database. We will find the query. We will use find query, read the data and send that to the front end. That is what only we need to do extra. We will do that. See, for example, first, so this is app na, app.get. Okay, after that what we have to do? App.listen. Listen. So in the listen, so we have to just give port number 4400. And here we will put a console.log. We will put a message server started http://localhost 4400, like this. IP address or localhost, anything. Here there are so many things in routes. I will tell you. First, start this. So we have to open this API, and so node api.js. You can see server started. Now request here http://localhost 4400 and enter. You see the index page comes automatically. We are not requesting index. By default index will come. Okay, let's put a slash here, and we are requesting another one. What is it? So we have a products. I will request slash products, and you can see it's returning. That is what fake store also having. http fakestoreapi.com/products. It is returning all the products, right? we can write the URL. This data should come from database now, right? We will see that how it comes from database. Suppose user here, so many points are like control C, stop. Let's put some more modification here. Actually, we are writing here. So app dot get, and here we defined asterisk, and we are using request and response. Here response dot send we are using. So page you requested not found. Actually, these are called wildcard routes. Wildcard routes means what? Suppose we requested first one, so it is coming. I requested slash categories and it says not found. That means if anything you requested and it is not there, then you can display some message saying that, so whatever you requested, it is not found. These are called wildcard routes. So wildcard routes are very important to manage, because if anything client is requesting, we can display that. So requested page not found, here we can give some help to them. Suppose, see, I'm giving this sentence in a heading, okay, and what I am doing after that, I will put some div. Okay, in this div, what I will do, I will put an I will better keep this, because to wrap into next line, I will put back tick, right? Then what I will do is, in the div, I can keep a ordered list, or say ordered list. So OL, in that ordered list we have list item. So LI, in that slash LI, so we have an anchor. So in the anchor we can keep an href, and here I am giving local host http://localhost:4400, and here we are giving home, or say here we are giving index, right? And here we have another, what is it? In that we are giving slash what? Products, and here we are giving products. That means, so API have, here I give a heading, API provides only following, right? That is good way. Then we will compile this again. Every modification we need to compile, right? That means you requested here first one, this is going to get this. You requested some products, so products, it is going to get the products. You requested something like home, then it says not found. This API provides only these two, and you can click on index, it will get the index, and you click on the products, it gets the products. In API we are handling navigation. This is through a routing technique. We are using links. On link click, it is not using traditional navigation, it is using route paths. We are using route path slash products, that is a route path. These are called as what kind of routes? Wildcard routes. We can configure wildcard route asterisk. Asterisk indicates, so if user is requesting something and it is not available. So this is basically how we define, right? This is an example. So I will copy this example. This is the example for API. Now here, so one important is, you need to know what is routing. One basic thing I will explain here. What is routing? It is a technique used in web applications to configure and create user friendly and SEO friendly URLs. URLs. Actually, routing uses implicit AJAX. It internally uses AJAX. So that means actually later we can implement that server side. It is configured two ways. It is configured a client side. It is configured server side also. That means client side routing is used in various libraries and frameworks like React, like Angular, like Vue. These all people use what client side routing. Server side routing everywhere. Server side routing is used in technologies like Node.js, like ASP.NET. So like we can use some PHP like that. We can add server side routing also anywhere. We have both client side routing, server side, JSP, ASP, PSP, everything. So now client side routing is for handling client side resources. Server side routing is server side resources. On server, managing resources. And client side routing is on client side, managing the resources, right? This is one. And very simple. I hope you can tell now. When I click products, it should get the products coming from API, from database. Tell me how. Only one extra thing, you need to import Mongo client is equal to what? Require MongoDB in that Mongo client, right? After that, we need a connection string, or you can directly write. When user requests products, what should happen is, here we will use Mongo client dot connect with URL is http://127.00, not HTTP, MongoDB :/127.001.2701717. And here we need a callback function with error and client object. Am I right? If no error, what should happen? We will create a database is equal to client object dot db. What is the database? iShop. In iShop, database dot collection. What is the collection? Products dot find all dot to array. It uses an error and it uses documents. And if there is no error, now response dot send what? Documents. That's what it need to do. This is how we need to configure the GET request. Now let's compile and run this again. Server started. Okay, now you are requesting here. Here we are requesting this, then it will get directly. And /products, it is going to get the data from API. This is in the database. In the database, you have all this data. It is going to return all the products data here. Now, this is the URL we have to give to our jQuery and JavaScript. That is what fake store also there. But in fake store, so many others are there. Parameter is there. /1. Then what it will do? Only first product. So those are called route parameters. We need to learn how to pass parameters, how to query data according to those parameters. And here currently we are using only GET request. We have to learn how to create all CRUD requests. Create, read, update, and delete. We must able to create an API which can handle all the CRUD operation. Then your backend is ready. In this, so many issues will come. For that, we need some more extra libraries also, which I will show you. We will see that. That we'll see in next session. Okay. First, you need this one also. I will upload. You need to practice up to this. Then I will give you next level all CRUD operations how to handle using API. And in that, what issues will come? CORS, body parsing, and other data transporting, how it is done, how to request data from client, all those things. Tomorrow, no session again, it will be on Monday. Okay, Monday will continue.